There we go.
Hey there.
Hey, hey, how's everybody doing? Happy Tuesday.
A little concerned. A little concerned
What's your concern for, baby?
about the connection because it's going in and out. It might be getting ready to storm. Let me look. Let me look at the weather.
Baby, don't worry about that. You just put it in God's hands. It don't matter what the weather's doing. It's all good.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Wait for a few people to jump on.
Well, I'll give them a couple more seconds, like usual.
How was your day?
My day was okay.
Oh wow, I never seen that.
What is that?
Where they tell us we're on live when they send us an
Because
email.
you shouldn't. You should be focused on live. That's going out to everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, 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 whoever jumped on.
Welcome, welcome.
Welcome, welcome.
Yes, this is Terrence and Jill, A God-Ordained Union.
Yeah, it is.
This is a platform for singles.
You look like you're trying to get comfortable.
I
You
am
ready
getting
to go to
comfortable.
bed.
This is our people. I'm getting comfortable
I
right
know,
now.
but you really
So-
sleepy. I need to put you to bed.
So see, I know I'm gonna do this right here. Then I can focus on sleep.
Okay.
But yeah, this is Terrence and Jill. We are a singles ministry, and we're here to help singles get married. We just want to increase God's love in marriage.
I know. And our mission is to uh, help position you and encourage you and inspire you through the Word of God and our testimonies, which are based on the Word of God. Some of them, because we was out there a little bit, just a little bit. But we're here to be your cheerleaders and to help you get to your person, find your person. That's our mission. So our vision is to increase more godly marriages. Hey, everything CD,
Yes.
and to yeah, because it feels good over here. It feels good over here. If this is your first time on our channel, we just been married over a little bit over 2 years. 2 years.
Look at you.
Yes, we met at I was 49 when we started talking. I spotted you when I was 48, but we didn't start dating until
You just ain't gonna let me get
I
past
was
that, are you?
50. We didn't
That's
start
okay.
that. We didn't see each other until I was 50. So that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But the whole message is that it doesn't matter how old you are, when love connects you,
Yes. And what God has for you is for you.
it's for you.
Just because you haven't received it yet, don't mean that He hasn't already sent it
That's
to you.
right. That's right. So love is a powerful thing. And part of this
Mhm.
channel is to remind you, hey Z, good talk to you earlier. Our mission also as a part of that is to encourage you and to share the power of love. What you know what it is,
Mhm.
just gotta let it just flow. So we ain't gonna prolong the intro because we want to take our time with this one tonight because this is a heavy one. Yesterday, well, actually all weekend, but yesterday in particular, there was this strong, I felt this strong, this heaviness, a good heaviness in a spirit realm that we were under an open heaven, that we were under an open heaven.
Yes.
And if anybody has ever heard of that term, first of all, can y'all hear us okay? Because when we got on here, the internet was shaky. So can y'all hear us okay?
Baby,
Please.
they can hear us. Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to make sure because this is the enemy may try to stall this tonight, and we can't afford to have that.
I'm not worried about the enemy. We're covered.
Okay, can somebody CD or Z, can y'all drop a thumbs up or okay, good. Okay,
listen to your husband.
but my husband is on this side. We're not on that side, so I gotta.
We're covered, baby. Go ahead.
Okay. So so yesterday was like this heaviness, like I felt it so strongly in my spirit that we're under an open heaven. And if anyone has ever heard of that term, an open heaven really means that that the windows of heaven are open, and like you could, you know, the blessings are falling down, rain is falling down, and the favor of God is upon us. And it was so thick. And so usually when I come home, I usually, first thing I do is after I eat or whatever, I get straight on the laptop, Mondays especially, and start doing some work or whatever. But yesterday I couldn't. And I kept telling her, let's just turn on some worship and let's just worship. And it was like so heavy. And so we started praying and we started interceding for you all. Great. We started interceding for you all because what was dropped in my spirit is that more than enough of you are in the presence of your person. And so I thought about when it was me, when I had come to that point. Just to really quickly, let me just recap what happened. I saw Terrence's profile in June of 2018. I got up the nerve to contact him in January of 2019. He was going through something else, or he wasn't interested or whatever. And so he did, but we started following each other on Facebook, and I hadn't heard from him anymore. And it wasn't until that following November when Terrence reached out to me. Before he reached out to me, like a couple of weeks before, hey, Wanda, I felt in my spirit like an open heaven. And so a friend of ours, he was a friend of mine first. He's married, Kelvin. He might be watching it. He'll probably catch the replay. Kelvin and his wife, Brenda, they called me a month before Terrence DM'd me. Now, I'm thinking that this guy is, well, let me say this. From January, because Terrence was so strong in my spirit, from January, from the first encounter Terrence and I had, I did not know what was going to happen between me and him. But I just continued to do some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight. I continued to pray, fast, and all that great stuff. I didn't know what the outcome was going to be. But around the fall, I felt something deep in my spirit, like kind of what I felt yesterday. And so that October 17th to be exact, Kelvin and Brenda reached out to me and asked, and now they didn't know me at that point. They really didn't know me. They would follow me on social media as a nonprofit expert. They would follow me on social media. And actually, Brenda was the one who was actually following me. But when I would be on live, her husband, who I didn't know at the time was a pastor, he heard one of my lives before. So this particular time, Brenda DM'd me and said, Jill, my husband has a word for you, and he wants to know if it's okay if he can deliver the word. And I said, yeah, for sure. So as I was at work, and I went and I called them, and he told me, he said, Jill, you're in an open heaven. He said, ask for what you want. He said, but I could tell you, your king is coming. Your king is coming. And he said he's coming wealthy. Like he's coming wealthy. Your king is coming, and get ready because your king is coming. But I had already felt it in my spirit that I knew, and I think we're gonna do a whole nother video on the difference between what you feel in your spirit and what you feel in your flesh. This was a difference. This was a different thing, and I couldn't quite. The Lord was taking me to all different types of levels spiritually. 1 month later, November 12th, I saw my Facebook notification that I had a message. You know how you see the little red one? I saw that, and I knew in my spirit that that was Terrence. And so before I opened it up, I prayed. I had it was the spirit that told me it was him. There was no carnal, fleshly indication that it would have been him, but I knew it in my spirit that it was him. And so I opened up the message and it was him. Y'all know the story. This is in the first 5 videos that we've ever created. Go back and watch those. But I knew it was him. So from that moment on, so between January and November, when I only went by tuned into God. And then from November till like almost 6 months later, until we actually saw each other, went on our first date, there was certain things that I did. And so we want to share those here because a lot of y'all are right there. Y'all are in the company or in conversation or in connection with your person. And so there's some things that you need to be doing immediately if you're not already doing them. And so we want to share. What are they, baby?
Okay. So you guys are in your winter season.
Yes.
And what most people don't realize is that when you get into your winning season, you're going to have the best and the worst of times. And the reason is, one, you're feeling good because you're starting to sense that God is giving you some things that you've been praying for, and you're going to start feeling what it feels like to get your prayers answered. But on the other hand, the enemy is going to start attacking you more severely, more seriously. So one of the things we have to do when we're in our winning season is we have to pray more. We have to up our level of prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And in doing so, there's a couple of things, you definitely want to pray for. One is going to be, peace.
Yeah.
You want to pray for peace.
You got to pray for peace because the enemy will have you go crazy if the way things are going, and it could be from confusion to trying to figure it out, trying to make up your own narrative. Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah. You want to pray for the peace of God. You want to pray for peace. What else?
You want to pray for patience. Don't get to a point where you think you got to rush the process.
Right.
Especially when you first begin it. You want to take your time and make sure you're seeing things and you're hearing things clearly. Yeah.
I shared this. I've shared on videos, and I was talking about it today, but that was one of the things I think that the Lord, and I think we all going to go through this, is the patience for women, especially, because the first thing, love is patient. But I remember the Lord dealt with me in patience from the time that we had the first connection to the time Terrence DM'd me. It was 11 months, and he developed patience. I thought that was the patience test, even though that was. The patience didn't really come until Terrence and I started talking, and we were quote unquote long distance, and he was not in a rush to see me. You were okay with talking to me. So the patience, I made sure that I did not, I let you lead. I don't like to say I let you lead, but it would like in the flesh, I would be irritated. Like there were a couple of dates, there were times we had planned to see each other and he canceled. And so, I knew God was working patience, but at the moment you don't know that. Like your flesh is really being. That's why you got to pray for peace, because my flesh was being irritated, especially times like, dang on, it's Valentine's Day, it's my birthday, it's just hitting spring, and then we went into the pandemic. But I never forget on Valentine's Day, I hadn't seen him. But that morning, Terrence sent me a beautiful Valentine's message. And so that was okay. But yeah, so you got to pray for patience, because it's now beyond your control and we're used to having our hand in it. So you got to pray for patience. Yeah. What else you praying for?
Another thing you want to pray for is you want the Holy Spirit to show you if that's the person or not. So you want to pray that there's no blocks on you or the other person.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. You want to say something? Because I was gonna. You want to pray that there's no blocks on him. While God, we've prayed. You've been working on you, and God got you to that person, but that person could also be dealing with blocks, emotional blocks, physical blocks, financial blocks, whatever the blocks that's hindering him or her. If is any guys watching, that the Lord will release those blocks. But I wanted to give you, I was reading the other day, I was actually listening to Colossians, because that's one of my favorite books. Y'all go listen to Colossians. But I love Colossians, but it moved over to Thessalonian. Well, I felt like I'm saying that the wrong way.
Baby, I have no idea.
Okay. But I think this was Peter. I mean, I'm sorry. No, this was Paul. So y'all listen to this. This is in Thessalonians. Paul said, "For we wanted to come to you. Certainly I, Paul, did again and again, but Satan blocked our way." So you gotta continue to pray that whatever blocks, because the enemy gonna try to block it, he gonna continue to try to block it. Whatever is trying to block you or him, whatever it is, that the block will be removed.
Yeah, and you got to know this is it's beyond you. It's larger than you by yourself. Once you get close to start being with the person that God has for you, the enemy starts looking at y'all as a couple. Because he knows what God's intent is for you all. So he's going to start trying to divide y'all off the gate before you even get together. So you have to make sure you understand that and fight this from a spiritual standpoint.
Yeah.
Don't give in to thinking you can do it by yourself, or you can handle it, or you can get around it. Go straight into the warfare that God gave you and let him fight your battle for you.
Yeah. What's the other prayer point?
That there's no aborting your blessings.
Yeah. Yeah. And we were talking about that with Moses. A lot of people say that Moses was not for Moses to go into the promised land, and that's not true.
No, God told him.
God predestined for him to go into the promised land, but he was what?
But Moses disobeyed God.
Yeah.
Okay, and when he disobeyed God, God at that point decided, no, I'm not letting you go into the promised land.
So yeah, you gotta make sure nothing is you're not entertaining anything that's gonna abort the blessing that God has. And that's why you gotta pray for peace as well. Peace, because you don't want to be operating, can't do this, can't do that, can't do this, can't do that. That's not what this is. Like, you gotta really have the peace of God, where that's why you gotta disobedience stopped him from going to the promised land. So that's why you gotta pray for peace, so that you could operate in the spirit realm.
You gotta rest in God.
Resting in God. And what's the other point under pray?
You want to pray that whatever it is that you want is in his will for you.
Yeah. So if it's that person, if you really want that person, ask God, say, Lord, if it's your will, if this is that person, I want him, or I want her. This is who I want. If it be your will, God said, he said, ask. And so don't be afraid to be vulnerable in your prayer closet. Lord, I really want this person. Like, I remember those prayers. I want him. As a matter of fact, I said it before I even talked to him. I saw his picture. Y'all know the story. Z, you know the story. Z was there when I had the crush on the picture. When I said, this guy right here, this guy, and this picture never left my phone. Oh, you can't even see it because I got so many apps, but that picture, it is the same picture that was, oh yeah, I can't see it. But yeah, it never left my phone. And when I saw his picture, I was like, it's something, the flesh liked it, but it was something spiritual that was like, it's something about him. I don't know what it is. It was new territory for me mentally and in the spirit realm. So yeah. So what's the second thing?
Well, the second thing is we got to fast.
Yeah.
You got to fast because now you're working on yourself. You're fasting for you. So
Yeah.
the first thing you want to do is you want to fast for clarity.
Yeah, because fasting is not for God, it's for you.
Yeah.
You want to fast for clarity that you'll be able to spiritually see and hear what God is saying in the spirit realm, because our flesh could make me or could make us think that we want something and we really want it carnally. And it won't be of God's will. So yeah, you gotta fast to get some discernment and some
Yeah, and it's funny that you just said that because that goes right into the next one. You want to fast so you can suspend the flesh.
Yeah, you want to suspend that flesh. You want to suspend the flesh. I remember I started fasting every single, and this is before we had a connection, before we start communicating. I would fast every single Friday because in like from 6 to 6. And because I needed to, my prayer was, I want him, but Lord, if he's with someone, reveal it so that I won't want him. And so Lord, I kept praying, Lord, reveal it. So I would fast so that I could just hear from God. So every Friday, that was my day to fast, and I would pray for this guy named Terrence. Whatever the reason is that he's in my spirit, because it might not even, he might, I didn't know why you were like, I wanted you as a husband potentially, but I didn't know why you were so heavy in my spirit. So I took myself away from what I wanted, and I just started praying for him as a person, whatever he was going through, whatever I was feeling in my spirit. And but yep, I would fast every single Friday. I would fast just for what I was feeling in the spirit realm. And God was starting to give me clarity. Like when I tell you, he was giving me all kind. I follow Jolene Whitaker, who is a prophetess, who's on social media. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. Everything she was prophesying, whatever she was saying, it was speaking to my spirit. She was right on with everything. I could pray something, I could hear something in the spirit. I would go on social media and Jolene Whitaker would confirm it in a post. And so that's how, that's how I started, or I would get a prophetic word. Kelvin would give me a word, or whoever, somebody would come say, girl, I remember Tanya Lofty she said, girl, I got a prophecy for you. Like it was just the prophetic word just was confirming everything that I was feeling in my spirit, that I was sensing in my spirit. So
the next thing that you want to do
is this number?
This is number 3.
Okay.
The next thing you want to do is you want to start guarding your ears, your eyes, and your mouth. You want to start monitoring what you're allowing in, your space. Okay, so the first one is going to be monitoring what you're watching. That goes from social media. It goes from, where you're hanging out. It goes to what you're doing on TV, what soap operas or whatever you're looking at on TV. But you want to start monitoring what you're allowing in. So be careful what you're watching and what you put inside yourself.
And transparent moment. Although I was watching reality TV like Real Housewives of Atlanta stuff, the whole Bravo network, I think, has a curse on marriages. But only thing that I was watching on TV was Married at First Sight. I remember um, I was watching Married at First Sight like around the clock. I would go back and watch past seasons. It was something about that show. I felt like I was learning, but I was just watching Married at First Sight. I just was watching just anything that had to do with, excuse me, marriage, um, weddings, and not that that's just what I had an interest in, oddly, but I did watch what I was watching. I did.
The next thing I would think is you want to watch who you allow in your presence. Who do you put around you? Because everybody isn't positive, and everybody doesn't want for you what you want for you. So you have to be careful who you let in your space.
Yeah. Um, when I started y'all know this story. When I started talking to Terrence, um, I made a conscious, serious decision that I would not talk about him to anybody, but my sister. I think, like on surface, I would tell Z, but I didn't, share it with anybody but like my older sister. And my niece was there when I first saw Terrence's picture, but I didn't share like details and play by plays, any of that with no one but one of my older sister Tammy. And so and it cost me a friendship. It cost me. And it was a risk that I would take again. I would. I think I made the very best decision, because had I allowed that person in my ear, I probably wouldn't be sitting right here. And I'm okay to say that. I was emphatic when the stuff hit the fan. I said it. I chose love. I choose love, and I chose love. And everybody who's fallen on the side of love fell on the side of love with me, with my husband, except for one person. And I'm okay with that. But I made a conscious. And it could have come. It probably came from fasting, but something told me don't share with that person, and I didn't. I didn't share the play by plays and the details, and I don't regret it.
Love you too, baby.
I love you.
You want to
Under number three.
you want to look at what you're listening to. And this is a big one for me because I love music and I love old music and way back in the gospel and the old stuff. And one thing that Jill shared with me one day was, watch what you're listening to, because sometimes you're praise and worshiping, but if you listen to that old gospel, sometimes they actually are singing a song that might not be in alignment with the word. And so it got me to start paying attention to the lyrics rather than just getting amped up because the music is making you feel good. And then you're sitting there singing along with something that's actually speaking against God's word.
Mm-hmm.
So be careful what you're listening to.
Yeah, I was very intentional what I listened to. And the only song that I listened to on repeat was the song Work Your Faith by J Moss. Everywhere I would go walking, other than if I had my playlist of Fred Hammond and stuff, but that was the song that carried me through that entire season of really walking by faith, because I had no idea how the outcome was going to happen. But every time I would, when I would go on walks at lunchtime, or when sometimes I would be riding home, and sometimes I'd be in the bathtub, I would have work the song "Work Your Faith" by J Moss in my ear on repeat. There's a part that he says at the end when where he just says work your faith. Work it just every time, I mean, it would fade out and I would be in tears. And that was what I kept in my ear.
Yeah.
That's what I kept in my ear.
Now the next one is probably the hardest, but you got to watch what you're saying.
Yeah.
We talked about that before in the past, but that right there, because sometimes we say things and think that we're not serious,
Mm-hmm.
but the spirit realm isn't paying attention whether you're serious or not. It's just words that are coming out of your mouth. So we got to follow that as much as possible. So
Yeah.
definitely watch what you're saying.
Yeah. Was that the last one under number 3?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think of where this one comes in, but yeah, watch what you're saying. And we've talked about this tons of times. You don't want to plant a seed out your mouth that will have an effect in your next season. So I was very careful of, what I said,
Mm-hmm.
and of course who I said it to, and yeah. So
And you also want to be careful about coming in agreement.
yeah.
Yeah, making covenants with others.
Yeah, and that even goes down to what you like and love on
Mm-hmm.
social media. Be careful, like that's coming to an agreement. It seems petty, but you can like a post and you are coming to an agreement with that person who posted. I don't know where this falls in, but I have to say be careful with like reading horoscopes and things like that. Of course, that's witchcraft. But I remember I came across my horoscope one time during this period, and let me just tell you, it said an Aquarius and a Capricorn were one of the least likely couples signs to have a happy relationship, in a to be compatible. And had I listened to that, and a lot of people do. Well, I only get along with a Gemini, or I only get along with a Leo, or I only, you gotta be very careful because the enemy is trying all kind of schemes and all kind of tactics to
Yeah.
keep you divided.
Yeah.
So
And I was just telling her a couple of days ago, I know a guy that he's been married several times, but every time he got divorced, he basically canceled dating any other woman that was in that race. So he was married to a black woman first, so now he don't date black women. Then he got married to a white woman. He got divorced. Now he don't date white women. And then he married a woman from the Philippines. So I don't know what he's doing now. I mean, he just canceling the race right after one after the other. The whole race for what one woman done. It's or whatever that relationship went through. But
talk about a
trip.
block.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk about a block.
Yeah, that's a trip.
Yeah. So
Now, number 4 is something that I really hope you all get, because number 4 says, discover yourself, find your joy. While you're going through this process, while you're in this season, fall in love with yourself.
yeah. So
Slow down, appreciate yourself, take care of yourself, but love you for you. Because if you don't, then it's hard for anybody else to.
and also what it does is it invites that person into
Absolutely.
your happy place, your joy, which gives them, which opens you up and gives them a good.
It helps you be seen.
It helps you be seen. It helps you attract,
Mm-hmm.
like when because people are drawn to positive people.
Yes.
So it was is a good time to and you know what is funny? This is so funny. This is so God is so awesome how he does things, because the period between that November when we started to talk and that June until we seen each other. So it was a whole like 7-month period. In between that period, I turned 50 years old. I had never celebrated my birthday, never had a party, never. That's just not me. I'm not one to celebrate myself. I just don't do it. But this particular time, even before Terrence came into my life, I said I wanted to have a 50th birthday party. I wanted to do something. And so I had started planning before him and I came into contact with each other. But for my 50th, in between that period, I remember in my 50th birthday, I wanted to we celebrated in New York on Sag Harbor, because that's when I was a child, when I was like 2 years old, either 2 or 3. To this day, I can't explain. Nobody can understand why I was the only grandchild who went to Sag Harbor with my grandparents, my mother, my aunts, and on this trip. Anybody know anything about Sag Harbor? It is the Hamptons, but for the bougie black people. And my grandparents had some rich friends, and they invited us out. And I went, and I don't know why Tammy didn't go. I don't know why Marty or Sean didn't go. Don't know why Timmy didn't go. It was 5 grandchildren. I don't know why I was the only one who went. But going on that trip literally changed my life from a toddler. I knew then that I wanted a bathroom that had 2 sinks in it. Even as a toddler, I wanted a mansion. Even from a toddler, and me and my mother talk about this constantly, like the Sag Harbor house, the Sag Harbor house, the Sag Harbor house. And so that's what I wanted to do for my 50th birthday. I wanted to go back to that happy place. And so I took 25 of my girlfriend's friends or whoever, and family, and 25 women. And I never forget, on the way to New York, Terrence called me. We had stopped at a rest stop, and Terrence called me, and I was so happy because I was on the way to celebrate with, and he was like, "I'm just calling to wish you a happy birthday, or say happy birthday and enjoy yourself and just have fun. Just don't think about nothing." But to have my own happiness outside of him, I think it did something. He saw me. He felt like, I don't know, did you? I mean, I'm talking for you. Like, yeah, it was just, I was doing stuff outside of him. Like, I didn't, my world did not wrap around him.
Here's why that's important from my perspective. One, it's going to help her celebrate herself and help her have happy moments that doesn't require me to create for her. So many people get dependent on other people making them happy or
expecting them to make them happy.
So you don't want that. You want to be able to make your own happiness. The other thing is, it gets me excited to know that she has a life. You know what I mean? So when I'm sitting here, she ain't, because so many times people are sitting there watching the phone. When is he going to call? When is he going to call? When is he going to call? And they get impatient in the very beginning. So by the time you get to 6 months, your patience is already up to here. You're like, look, this ain't happening. But it ain't the other person's fault that you don't have anything to keep you occupied and busy and keep you interested in something that's outside of the other person.
Yeah.
We all love, she and I love. I don't think there's 2 couples in the world that spend more time together than she and I. We're together. If we're not physically at our jobs, we are together. But at the same time, we both recognize that there are times when we need our own space.
Yeah.
So you got to be able to create that, to create that vibe so you have your own space.
Yeah.
Okay. And a lot of times, including God in that will even make that even more special for you.
Yeah. So it created my own life and my own joy. And I remember when it was the pandemic, and I remember Terrence came up, and that's when we had D Nice was doing the Saturday night, what you call it, when we were isolated, and we would, he would do the stuff on social media. He would be the DJ on social media.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember this particular night, like, Jill came out, and I just danced in the living room. I danced. And I looked out the corner of my eyes, and Terrence was leaning on the wall, just watching me. Club Q, Club Q. That's right, Club Quarantine. Thank you, Z. Club Quarantine was on, and he was playing everything from, I mean, everything. Y'all know how he was doing. And I was just dancing, just dancing in the living room, just dancing, 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 dancing. And Terrence was just, and we were new into, and Terrence was standing like in the doorway, leaning on the wall. He was just watching me. It was just like watching me just be joyful. Like it was just, yeah. So, yeah.
We was talking about this before we started this live, and there was a scripture that Jill brought up. So I wrote it down, and I'm going to share that with y'all now. Okay. And that is Isaiah 26:3. And it says, "Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee."
Yeah.
And a perfect example of that is, if y'all remember in the Bible, when Jesus was walking on water and they called out to him, and then Simon said, if it's you, call me out to you. And he said, come. And in the beginning, Simon went out and he actually was walking on water, headed towards Jesus. But then he took his attention off Jesus and he got distracted. And as soon as he got distracted, he sank. So you have to keep your focus while you're finding your peace, while you're going through this.
Why you want that man?
Why you want this guy? Why this woman? Whatever it is, and keep your focus on God, because that way your focus is going to be centered on what He's doing for you. Because God wants us to look to Him as our only source.
Yeah,
and that's important to Him.
And
so we have to do that.
Yeah, that's the thing. And that's why I needed to fast regularly, because I was going, it was easy for me to, well, what is he doing? Why is he not doing this? I never forget when so when after we saw each other, actually tomorrow, June 12th, we'll make 4 years. It seemed like so much longer than that. Well, Terrence came up to Raleigh, and we have been together ever since. But I remember Terrence would come every other weekend before I started coming to Charlotte to see him. And I never forget, one of my girlfriends said, you don't have a problem with him not inviting you to his house? I said, nope, I don't. Blocking them ear gates. I'm blocking it. And so, but I remember you would come every other weekend, and on Sunday when you would leave, for a quick second, the enemy would say, you did something this weekend that he don't like, and he don't like you no more, and he's not gonna call you. And I would wonder, are we gonna see each other again?
You told me that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the peace of God would just come. The peace of God would just come, and then I'll get a text. Hey, baby, I'm home. Just want to tell you I had a great time this weekend. We had a good. And then when you came up that time, then we went to the dinner for the first time when the Chili's opened up, and on the way back at the parking lot, and he looked at me and said, I love you. And I thought I was going to fall through the floor. So, yeah. But the enemy will try to, he will test you. He will drop little things in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Absolutely. And we're at number 5.
The last one?
The last one is something that we all do, but not to this level, but you have to start now. And that is, you need to go on social media with all your platforms, and you need to start cleaning them up.
Yeah,
you need to start doing an inventory. I remember One of the things I did was I went on, and everybody that was putting posts on my wall that didn't represent me or what I felt or what I thought, I started deleting them or hiding them or whatever I had to do to get them off my wall so nobody would see them.
Yeah,
I
because you
wanted to
don't want
make
to have
sure
a false
whatever she read about
representation.
me came from me.
Yeah,
I didn't want her reading anything about me from anybody else that wasn't going to represent me the way I would.
yeah. Which actually, that was our very first argument because for whatever reason, I don't care how much cleaning up he did, there was a post that came up, and it was a post about Trump. And you know how it says these people follow it, and his name was up there. And it was probably something from years ago, but the enemy tried to convince me that my husband was a Trump supporter. And we had our very first argument about it. And
Over
so,
something I don't even care about.
yeah. And and I felt stupid afterwards. But the point is, and not that you clean up your social media because you don't want nobody to see the real you. That's not it. But you don't want nobody to see you don't want that person to you don't want the enemy to have no part of trying to convince that person that you're somebody else. You're something other than who you truly are. And so yeah, I did an inventory of and I had did that before we started talking. When we first had that first encounter and we became Facebook friends, I automatically locked my page and I went in and I cleaned up photos. I cleaned up all kind of stuff in my Facebook, like all kinds of stuff. Because the opinionated Jill would have drove him away. Opinionated Jill would have just, and that was not who I didn't like that person of me. Like I'm opinionated, but I didn't like that did not represent, the growth that I was going through, because going through this now, you are becoming someone different. Like you're becoming a wife, you're becoming someone, you literally are becoming someone different. And so yeah, I didn't want to give him a wrong interpretation of who I was, presently. So but yeah, so those are some of the things. And um be very prayerful and careful, because the enemy wants to stop it, and he wants to stop a beautiful thing. And it can come from anybody and anything. And so, but you can't mess it up as long as you keep your focus on God. I remember Calvin telling me that. I said, I'm scared I'm going to mess it up. He said, you can't mess it up. You could only mess it up if you walk in your flesh. And so,
So enjoy, smile, get
yeah,
excited.
It is what
Stay
I
in the
tell
moment.
y'all, like it is a beautiful what I saw in the spirit realm. Like when we were receiving messages back and forth, like, yeah, I'm dating somebody, and somebody put on our post, he's about to propose. And I was like, well, wow, we didn't even know that they were dating. The people would just say, yes, it's your winning season. People were just saying it over and over. We hearing it. CD said it last week when she revealed that she's getting to know somebody. We had a friend who called us and said she's met somebody. Another friend, when we were on vacation, another friend called us and said, I gotta tell y'all something. So it is like when it is here, it is a ride for y'all. Like it did it in a bunch. It did it in a group. So y'all just don't let your impatience get the best of you. Relax. Relax. Enjoy the ride. Let him lead, because God is also working on him. So you got to be patient as God works on him too. So y'all going into a new, different person. So relax. Do not limit God. Exactly. Do not limit God. Do not limit God. All things are possible. Y'all, I'm telling you, my sister Tammy will tell you, I believe God just for the fact of what he did to her. Talking about me. I believe God just for what he did to my sister. So or what he did for my sister. So yeah, just relax because God is amazing and he is doing it. And you prayed for it, you asked for it. It's here. It is here.
Yeah.
It's here. So
yeah, and don't trip about a lot of way out there in the future.
no.
Enjoy
Good
today.
point. Enjoy every
today.
single day.
Yes.
Don't go past. Don't be trying to plan on weddings in your head. None of that. As a matter of fact, the wedding I thought I was going to have, I didn't have. The time of year I thought I was going to get married, it didn't happen that way. But it was perfect how it ended up. So yeah, none of that. When I got engaged, I thought the man was crazy. I thought he was kidding me. We literally were in the friend zone. We never went to boyfriend and girlfriend. We went from friends to fiance. It was like literally I'm serious. We saw each other for the first time June 12th. December 12th, he proposed. December 12th. I was like, I want to be a girlfriend. Like, you never said I was a girlfriend. I wasn't a girlfriend. I was from friends to fiance.
About men right now.
What about men?
You just happen to be in a long distance relationship, men aren't going to drive for 6 months every other weekend, all these hours to see you if he ain't serious about you. That just ain't what we do. So
I knew
some
you
things
serious.
Don't have to be spoken.
Yeah, that was a hard part. What are you saying? I need to hear it. But he would never know I was freaking out like that. He would never know it.
But what did I tell you? The reason why I did, one of the reasons why, is because I wanted to make sure you understood that you wasn't in this by yourself.
Right.
I wanted to take the pressure off of you of wondering what I was thinking. So if a ring don't tell you that I'm thinking something beyond where we are today, then we got some issues.
Yeah, you got your message across. So y'all are here. It's the winning season. Enjoy it. Keep your focus on God. If God be for you, who could be against you? Who wouldn't want you? We've been in one for 10 months now. Oh, yes. Look, I told you. This is another person.
Enjoy.
I told y'all it is we're getting these testimonies. I've been seeing him. I've been seeing this guy. I've been seeing this. Like we would last 6 months ago, nobody was seeing nobody.
Look at that. Hallelujah.
I'm telling y'all, I know what I felt in my spirit yesterday. I know it's an open heaven and he's pouring down husbands. He's pouring it down. So y'all make sure y'all pray for your husband. Like literally pray for his health. Pray for his mind. Pray for his emotions. Pray for whatever traumas and triggers and all that. Pray, break strongholds, break bondage, break blocks off of him because men are dealing with things that we have no idea.
And pray for each other.
Yes.
All of you that's on this right now, look, if you haven't realized it, you're all family now.
Yeah.
So
pray for each other. Yeah, each other. Y'all all going through this at the same time.
Absolutely.
Y'all all at this initial phase at the same time.
Somebody that understands where you are and what you're going through is the people that you see here right now.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Be intentional. Yeah.
And the stories you're going to be able to tell.
Oh, Jesus. You have your own platform.
Absolutely.
You're going to have
Where did y'all meet? We all met.
You're going to have your own. You're going to have your own platform. Yeah. You got to start your own platform. So, but God is good. And that's what the word is for today. It's your winning season. Enjoy it. Get happy. Get excited. Get peaceful. And let God do his perfect work.
Yes.
Continue his perfect. He who begun a good work in you shall complete it.
Mm. Yes.
So yeah, so that's from the Smiths. We ain't telling y'all nothing we don't we don't know. We ain't telling y'all, ain't telling y'all nothing that God ain't take us through. June 12th is tomorrow. Happy anniversary.
Mm.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. One Friday, one rainy Friday nights. One rainy Friday nights. And he came all the way. And what did I do? I jumped in his arms.
She did.
I opened that door and I jumped in his arms.
Yep, that made my never list. Yeah.
I jumped in his arms. So, yeah.
So we hope this has been a blessing.
Yes.
We appreciate you for allowing us to share this evening with you. And we hope you all have a very blessed and prosperous remainder of your evening.
Yes. And our site will be up in a couple of weeks. Back up. All right. Mm-hmm. Y'all be blessed. The Smiths are going to bed.
No doubt.
Deuces.